What's up, everybody? I want to tell you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting Anchor on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So download Anchor, the app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. And I'm a veteran, so let's hear some more military cadences. I wanna run. What's up, guys? I'm back again with some news, with some stuff, with some whatever. Let's get into it. So, McCarthy is calling for the January 6th riot video, a Tucker Carlson exclusive, and says public will have it soon. The House Speaker on Tuesday defended his decision to hand over tens of thousands of hours of security video from January 6th insurrection. McCarthy told reporters that he was following the precedent of the January 6th committee and giving a news network early exclusive video access that he said would later release more widely. So he'll have an exclusive, but then he'll give it out to the entire country. Don't know what that means, but I'm assuming if the Republicans are releasing video, it's going to be it's going to be a tale of two cities, so we'll see. So Lori Lightfoot becomes the first Chicago mayor in 40 years to lose re-election. Let's play on that. I know that people were not happy with the crime and everything that was going on in Chicago, so they got her up out of there. She failed to get enough votes to advance. Let's take a listen.
So thank you and thank everyone so much. I feel a lot of love in this room as I've felt every step of the way on this journey. I've called Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis to congratulate them on their victories in advancing to the runoffs. We were fierce competitors in these last few months, but I will be rooting and praying for our next mayor to deliver for the people of the city for years to come. Thank you. 4 years ago, I looked into the camera and spoke directly to young people of color who looked like me and to every kid who felt like I did when I grew up. And I'm going to do that again tonight. I told you back then that anything is possible with hard work. And I want you to know that no matter what happens along the way, you should always believe that because it's true. Believe that you can bring about change. Believe that you matter. And believe that you can love who you want to love and do what you want to do and be who you want to be. You will not be defined by how you fall. You will be defined by how hard you work and how much you do good for other people.
That's a decent speech, but I think none of that got her reelected. Chicago's a hard thing to take on, the crime. I really don't know how they're going to fix it, honestly. I've been to Chicago several times and never had any issues, but I also don't live there, so I don't really know, what they have going on. I've never, like I said, ran into anything on that. So, yeah. But, yes, she loved who she wanted to love, but she did not get reelected. Let's look at this whole FBI director accusing China of trying to thwart and obfuscate the origin of the COVID probe.
Fox News, we want to play you some of the back and forth here. Watch.
As you note, Brett, the FBI has for quite some time now assessed that the origins of the pandemic are most likely a potential lab incident in Wuhan. I should add that our work related to this continues. I will just make the observation that the Chinese government, seems to me, has been doing its best to try to thwart and obfuscate the work here, the work that we're doing, the work that our U.S. government and close foreign partners are doing.
Ken Dilanian is joining us now with that interview with Chris Wray over on Fox. So interesting here because this is really the first sort of big time official that we're hearing talking about what we've been talking about for 4 days now, which is this mystery of where did COVID come from, and was it, as there is some leaked reporting based on some intelligence reporting you've done, suggests, was it a lab leak from China? So put this into perspective.
Right, and this is the first time that anyone at the FBI has acknowledged this long-standing position that the FBI has taken since October 2021, that they believe with moderate confidence that it was a lab leak. But important perspective here, they are one of 8 intelligence agencies that have looked at this, and 4 believe the other way.
That's what's so interesting.
Yeah.
The intel agencies don't agree.
Yeah, they don't. And the CIA is one of 2 now that are undecided. They're so divided they couldn't come to a conclusion even to write it up. And then the Energy Department, as we've been reporting, has now weighed in and said, we believe with low confidence that it was a lab leak. What this tells you...
FBI, DOE say, lab leak.
Yeah.
CIA says, TBD, we're undecided.
Yeah.
4 others say, wasn't a lab leak.
And so the most important thing this tells you is the intelligence is bad. It's spotty. They don't have good information. They're groping in the dark here.
But Chris Wray's going on national TV to talk about it.
That's quite remarkable.
What are we supposed to how do we read that?
That's quite remarkable. I mean, because there's been a lot of good reporting about this, investigative reporting, and there's a compelling case for a lab leak, circumstantial evidence. There's also a compelling case that it came from nature, because that's how most viruses get into the human population. But there was this lab that was doing research on this kind of coronavirus, one of 3 places in the world, and that was the reaction of many intelligence officials right away. Oh, what a coincidence that this happened right near this lab in China. And then they started covering things up. Like there were apparently some people that fell ill at that lab in the fall before the pandemic outbreak. No one from the U.S. government has ever been able to interview those people. I mean, there's a lot of questions, but at the same time, there have been scientific papers written that say, no, I'm sorry, this definitely came from animals. It came from that animal market. Remember, there was an animal market in Wuhan where wild animals were being sold. But they have not found any animal that transmitted the coronavirus, COVID, directly to humans.
And why this is so important is because it gets to the central question of this pandemic that killed hundreds of thousands of people in this country alone, millions of people around the world, right? Deadly, horrific, generational changing pandemic.
Yep.
How did it start?
Exactly.
This is the question they're trying to answer. And even though Chris Wray is coming out tonight, head of the FBI, and saying, here's what we think, what you're saying is the context is we got to take this all, looking at the big picture, grain of salt, etc.
And what many of my sources say is we may never know the answer to this, but also it's not necessarily, look, we can act as if both things are true, because there are certain steps that need to be taken, both on lab security and then on hunting for viruses in the wild.
Come back. Talk more with us about this once we see the rest of the interview, which is going to air.
So they still don't know, kids. But what we do know is that obfuscate means evasive. So if you want to use that in a sentence, like, don't try to obfuscate me. That's what that means. That's how my ADD is set up. Anyway, I felt like that was an interesting choice of words, obfuscate. Vanessa Bryant has reached a $28.85 million settlement over the helicopter crash with the photos of Kobe. That was very unfortunate that that happened and that these fools took pictures. So Elizabeth Holmes, who was a part of Theranos, the blood testing company that was supposed to be sentenced to 11 years, is saying that she just had a newborn child and she should be allowed to delay the start of her more than 11-year prison sentence while her lawyers appeal her conviction for duping investors about capabilities of her failed blood testing technology. The birth of Holmes' second child was confirmed in court documents, and she was supposed to be March 17th was when she was supposed to be getting close to going to the slammer. I mean, me personally, she should go like every other mother that has to go to prison for committing crimes. Even if you are pregnant, it's just kind of life. But you know, they'll let her waste her money some more and still send her eventually. I was wondering why she wasn't in there yet. Let's see here. That was all I was going to read on that world news. Pretty quiet. I mean, besides them never going to determine where COVID came from. Let's see what else we got out here in these streets. Nothing like amazing happened. It's been a really quiet week, which is kind of nice. Besides the usual mess. So, Omarion, who was in the singer, well, he's a singer in B2K. Anyway, this girl on Dr. Phil, she was a catfish victim who truly believed she was engaged to him. The woman named Simone appeared on an episode of Dr. Phil. Am I really engaged to superstar entertainer Omarion? Simone says she never met Omarion because his manager demanded a 3,000 fee to set up meeting him. She claims she spoke with Omarion over the phone for months and they were engaged since October 2020. She said the singer bought her an engagement ring, which he kept and promised to give her when they met. Omarion's manager, Michelle LaFleur, CEO Worldwide, appeared on Dr. Phil to clear Omarion of any wrongdoing. Then Omarion himself appeared via closed-circuit TV with Simone and his friends. It's crazy how far these people will go to convince and manipulate my fans to think they're actually speaking to me. Omarion apologized to Simone, saying, "I'm so sorry, Simone. I haven't been speaking with you online, and we are not in a relationship." Omarion took to Instagram after the show aired. "Be smart, family," he wrote. "So many people have stories saying they spoke with me online. I don't take advantage of people. I respect and appreciate those who support me." Omarion is best known as B2K. Simone, did you really think you was engaged to Omarion? And Omarion really had to take the time to get on TV and tell this lady that she wasn't really speaking to him. So the former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms announced she is quitting as a senior official in the Biden administration. Bottoms made the announcement after President Biden made an inappropriate remarks during the Black History Month celebration in the White House on Monday. Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and others gathered in the East Room for a reception on Monday as Black History Month draws to a close. Biden told the audience, "I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. I know where the power is. You think I'm joking?" Hours later, Bottoms announced she was leaving her role as public engagement advisor to the president. She has held this position since June 2022. In a tweet, she made it clear that she never planned to remain in the permanent role within administration. Bottoms said she plans to run for public office again when she returns to Georgia. "It's time for me to get back." Biden said some offhanded stuff, which is not shocking when he said, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." I don't think that's why she's quitting, but that's the speculation anyway. Let's see what else. This is gonna be, I guess people are teasing Keke Palmer about her son's name because she named him Leotis. The joke started immediately. Somebody said the name sounds like it led a civil rights march. It's giving Martin Luther King. And she said it's giving our march with Martin Purr. The name sounds like. So, I mean, Kiki, Leotis is an interesting name, but I know one thing: Leotis will be richer than most of you people. So I don't know why y'all get coming for Kiki in this name. So you guys, I guess I will dibble in because really it's a very quiet news day, which is great. Let's keep it that way. I guess I'll dabble back over in Dear Abby with the old fogies and see what these people are going on. Let's see. And I might not, because like I'm seeing a lot of stuff about. You know what? I'm gonna decide against Dear Abby because I just can't stomach it. It just, y'all don't understand. This stuff is kind of crazy. I do want to tell you guys about this show I'm watching. It's called The Accused. It's on Hulu. It's kind of interesting. The first episode here, I'm gonna play a snippet for you. Let me know what you guys think here. Whenever it comes up here. Us to do this ad, but I just started watching it, and it chronicles ordinary people getting caught up in extraordinary situations where one wrong turn leads to another until it's too late to turn back. Plan now.
The Dr. Harmon's was a difficult situation, an impossible situation. But we're not here today to second guess what he didn't do or should have done. We're here because of what he actually did.
Imagine thinking, oh my God, my child might commit mass murder. What would you do? I've never seen anything quite like this particular episode of television.
What do you do when there's nothing you can do? That situation really kind of became the genesis.
I read the script with no intention of doing this. And then when I read it, I had to do it. Howard has just told this story in all its shades of gray.
I just got to explore that, I think, intimately and powerfully, and I think humanly.
And I think as human beings, we have a tendency towards denial. Every time you decide to pay attention to him, you start to catastrophize.
Well, and every time you make excuses and point fingers at everyone else.
We all wonder, why didn't the parents see it?
When you're living through it, you don't see it.
It's very difficult for anybody to really understand where that is coming from.
You really realize how sometimes we see just what we want to see.
The idea of Devin hurting himself is horrifying. What if he hurts someone else?
It's a terrifying prospect. I'll get the money.
I knocked. Who are you talking to?
Since when do you care?
We're not done here. I've never played anything like this, and it's an excruciating place to go.
Did Dr. Harmon ever share the cold calculus of killing his own son before his son could kill anyone else?
This is a story of how we cope with the darkest thoughts that we could possibly have.
What if he does what I'm afraid of?
Did Dr. Harmon share his plan to murder him?
I don't know how you could watch this and not feel tremendous empathy for what these people are going through.
The impossibility of that situation, I think, really is like a lose-lose proposition.
So you remember the state park? I think you'd really like it. And you're going to say, well, what would I do and how could I prevent this? And if I'm going to play that game, I would try to connect in any way that I could. At least that's what I think I'd do.
I was talking to my friend about the situation, and he said I could go with him on this trip that he's got planned. That's what the money's for.
This is one of those things that unless you go through it, I don't think it's possible for you to really know what you do.
They've got them down there right now.
Park here and come with me.
Your son wants to talk to you.
Everyone wants to be right, and we're often not right.
If Dr. Harmon hadn't given Devin $10,000, would you and he have been able to carry out the shooting?
Not a chance.
It's a giant what if, but very timely and very relevant. You want to reach people, and this piece of material reached me. And I thought, this is something that could stir people, move them, and get them talking.
So this was a very interesting role because it was Newman from Seinfeld, and he was playing it. But pretty much the first episode, which that's all I got to, was their son has been like pretty much evil since a child. He, killed animals, and so he was they had taken him to all kind of psychiatrists, all these things, and he pretty much was becoming a school shooter. Like, they knew that it was a trajectory that he was on, and so I'm not going to tell you what happened because I don't know, but a freaking genius you can see that clearly the dad kills the son before he can kill anybody else. And the dad is on trial for that because it's called The Accused. But pretty interesting. I will be finishing that episode, so I will let you know what I thought. I have been searching high and low for something to watch on TV, and besides everything else that I watch, it's been slow. It's been rough for me. I can't find anything. So I found plenty of what I did find was some gossip for you guys. I've been searching and searching. And since I don't have my little ratchet videos no more, I'll have to get into this. As I take a drink of water here. So let's see what we got here. What is the most interesting gossip you heard about yourself that is absolutely not true? Senior year, I had a severe allergic reaction and was hospitalized and out of school for a week. People thought I died and were shocked when I returned to school. So that's interesting. I was hit by a car in my school's crosswalk in front of nearly all of the student body. The ambulance came and carted me off, and I spent the next month and a half in the hospital and rehab. This happened in late spring, so I wasn't able to attend school again until the following autumn. Turns out there was a rumor about how I died. Imagine how it looks my first day of junior year. Everybody was like, she's back from the dead. So Jay Farrow was on Howard Stern the other day, and he was bragging about having a big slong, like a 9-inch slong. And that's the age-old question, does size matter? For me, 9 inches is too big. But, let's get into it. So, ladies of Reddit, does size really matter? Hi, everyone. If you dig up my comments, you'll read that I'm a guy with an average-sized penis who's insecure about his size. I think I'm not alone in this boat. I've been thinking a lot about this. I like to know how really the size of your cock matters when it comes to sex. I don't want to be reassured. I want to know how it works. What is driving me insane is that on one side, I receive heartwarming comments. When I talk about it, I see my comment history again. On the other internet is filled with stories like this. Please help me put some clarity in my mind. I can live knowing that my cock is not enough to really please a woman. Really, I'm a great guy, and my life has been much more than sex. I'd really like to know what women really want. For me, size matters, but I don't need a huge slong. And I think everything goes hand in hand, because I've seen and had huge slongs that the dude did not know what to do with it. So it is always the motion in the ocean and what you do with it. But it can't be too tiny. Too tiny is too laughable, for me anyway. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm giving you my honest opinion. If I see it and it makes me giggle, then I can't. It needs to be average size. 6 is fine. 6, I would say 6 to... For me, 8. And I wouldn't even want to go past 8 because I'm not trying to have my ovaries hurting. But let's see what these comments said. Somebody said, dude, I'm not a woman, but I can tell from your comment history that you are going to drive her away with your insecurity. You sound sad, whiny, untrusty, and insecure. You posted this in 4 different subreddits. Reddit, she's more likely to cheat, leave you for your attitude, and I won't blame her for a second. Tough love answer. Man up, bro. And the guy clearly is still insecure because he said, this doesn't answer my question. I'm not showing her my insecurity, and trust me about this, I bang her hard when the time comes. This is eating me away, and I like to know about it. Can I? Or wanting to know the truth is a sign of insecurity? I'm not changing. Clearly, dude, if you have posted this in 4 Reddits, you do have insecure. Let's see. He replied back, he said, it did answer your question, though. You just don't want to believe it. You were looking for a yes or no, but women do not respond that way. They respond to things like confidence more than anything. That is not to say that sometimes a woman that is only looking to get laid might not have preference, but even those times, what is going to bring her into you is you. If you have a problem with your size, so will she, I promise. Very true. Insecurity does matter, but it can't be that tiny. Somebody told him that he needs a therapist because this is affecting him. Somebody said men are more obsessed with the size than women. It's 50-50. Somebody said, I had a guy with 9 inches. Sex sucked. It hurt too much. 2 partners were even 5 to 6 inches, and they were perfect. The number that and type of positions were much more varied. They had no qualms with laying it down. I like it rough and with a bigger penis, so the logistics, even getting it in, is too painful to think about, much less the logistics. I agree, because if a dude with a huge thing is banging you, it's gonna hurt. I mean, listen, there's some women with some big vaginas. Let's be clear. This conversation is going to go left really fast, just FYI. But for me, 9 inches is just too much. Yeah. This dude was really upset. And someone said, do you know that vaginas are wired differently than penis, right? The odds of a woman getting out from a penis in vag sex alone are pretty slim to start out with, unless some know how to have all your fingers and tongues amputated and even your toes. Stop worrying about the size of your cock. It's not the size of the boat that matters, but the motion of the ocean. That's what I said. It is the motion in the ocean. Somebody said it really doesn't matter that much as long as you're good at eating, you know what. Most women don't even get off from vaginal intercourse alone anyway, so that ends up being more about physical bonding than anything. I, however, have frequent G-spot orgasms, but if you have an average size penis, you have nothing to be concerned about anyway. Average is perfectly fine, especially if you know how to use it. You just got to know how to use it. For me, yes, you do need to be good at eating the box too, but I like the follow-up, because then I could just be a lesbian if that's all I wanted. I'm just laughing at this. Somebody said, I prefer smaller one. Your attitude's a real turn off, though. I guess that's why God invented duct tape. This is funny. TMI time. If you know me in real life, you might want to read it. I have an average size cock. Even with my average size cock in the right position, I will bottom out on my wife. She has told me multiple times that if my penis was 1/4 of an inch longer, sex would really suck and hurt her. You should be glad that you can use all that you have with your girl. If you had a 9-incher, you would probably only get to use the first 2 2/3. That's the thing, because a vagina is only but so deep. I mean, they vary, but he's right. If it's really big, it's not going to go all the way in there. He said the first 2/3 of your penis wouldn't be able to slim away as hard as you want, as you always be trying to avoid bruising her cervix. Anyways, dude, don't obsess over something you can't control. Just enjoy it. It's not a contest. Interesting. My boyfriend is the only guy I've been with, and he's more than 2 hands long. Dang, it's painful when he goes all the way in. So I told him to not go all the way in. It's difficult to do me on top, because I can't just sit down all the way, so my legs get tired. But looking at other penises on the internet, I find my boyfriend's size to be the most visually appealing. Being too long seems better than being too short because he can always just not put it all the way in. Somebody says, wait until you find a guy that can slam into you without fear of hitting your cervix. It feels a hell of a lot better. And she said, I'm not into rough sex, but thanks for your very shallow advice. I'm not going to leave my boyfriend over the size of his penis. This is going downhill fast. I mean, yeah, big ones are appealing, but they're scary. And yeah. The fact that this is, this thread goes on and on is funny. So let's get into another one. Do cheaters change? I'm in a relationship with someone that I love. Last year I found out he was cheating on me with multiple times throughout our 5-year relationship. When I found out, I confronted him, and of course he denied it until I told him the irrefutable fact of information I had, in which he had then confessed. We broke up and I moved out, but we never really stopped contact. We decided to work things out and try again, and he says he has changed, and I do see changes, but I have a really hard time trusting if the change is genuine. I always hear people say once a cheater, always a cheater, or he can change, but not with the person he cheated on. I just want to know other people's opinions who have had my experience. Did it work out? Were you able to trust again? Does it happen again? I'll say this, for me, I would never trust the person again. I mean, when you're in a relationship and that happens, being in a relationship, period, is hard to trust. I mean, you have to have trust, though, if you're going to do said relationship. So you have to find a way. But if that trust is broken, it is very hard to regain. So I would just say, good luck. I mean, I couldn't. If I know you cheated, especially several times, like, I can't. Let's see. Somebody said he cheated on you for 5 years, lied when you confronted him, and now you expect him to change. What happens when he cheats again? What happens when he gets better at hiding it and lying to you? What happens when he feels like he can get away with it because you allow him to do it for a year? That whole 5-year period, he didn't care about you, kept his secret and lied. If he didn't change for 5 years, why do you expect him to change now? Sure, maybe he can change, but you're a fool for sticking around to see if he does. She said, thank you for your reply. Those are the thoughts that often run to my mind. Why I stay, I have no idea, but it's probably because I'm comfortable. But the cost it takes on my mental health is getting to be not worth it. Yeah, you've gotten comfortable in toxicity. Somebody said, if it's taking a toll on your mental health, it is 100% not worth it. It will hurt for a while, but will get better. You feel so much better. Yeah, you need to probably go to therapy, my friend. Somebody said, I think people can change, but I don't think it would be with the person that they cheated on. You basically allowed them to do this to you again. It wasn't your fault that he cheated by any means, but the fact that you took him back shows him that there really are no consequences. I hope you respect yourself more in the future. Yeah. You have to have, to me, relationships have to have like a constitution, and it has to have a creed. And if you break those, you have to have deal breakers in relationships. I know that, things happen, but once you start battering your relationship, man, it's kind of like, downhill from there. Let's do one more and I'm going to stop because I have to save my voice, but these things are just too interesting. Help, I can't stop cheating on my significant other. I am a 32-year-old serial cheater. I am handsome, confident, outgoing, and come from the modest wealth. I have a good job and excellent education. I have a little trouble attracting potential mates. I thrive on variety and regrettably infidelity. I get bored sexually with most women within a month or two, sometimes less. I get into these semi-serious relationships and maintain them for as long as I am able to because I enjoy the intimacy that goes with such a serious relationship. Unfortunately, long periods of monogamy leave me sexually unsatisfied, and I will cheat to satisfy my own selfish needs. The affairs mean nothing to me emotionally, but sexually I'm completely unsatisfied without them. At this point, I want to get married because I won't get married, thank goodness, because I know that no matter how much I love someone, I am unable to maintain the kind of monogamy that marriage requires. At my age, the vast majority of women I meet are anxious to get married, settle down, and have children. And with the white picket fence, I cannot provide without occasional affair. Over the years, I've become skilled at the art of deception and can secretly maintain affairs with ease. I've never been caught, only suspected, but never with any proof. I end relationships before they implode around me. Unfortunately, maintaining such deception only heightens the excitement of cheating for me and makes me enjoy it more. Close friends privy to my secrets have suggested pursuing an open relationship, but when I'm honest and attempt to explain or forewarn, it instantly destroys the relationship. Look, you're beautiful and lovely in bed, but you know that you will never completely satisfy me, never goes over well, no matter how it's said. Furthermore, the possibility that a long-term partner in an open marriage could suddenly change our mind about fidelity and monogamy and divorce me has substantial financial, emotional consequences that increase dramatically with marriage and children. The prospect of having a child terrifies me because of one of my indiscretions could leave me financially responsible for my child while being cut out of his life entirely. I'm seriously considering a vasectomy, but I can't bring myself to do it. I was in love once before, but callously destroyed it. I recently rejected someone I started to fall for after that rather than hurt them. This decision left me bitter and confused, broken and angry. I've tried therapy, but I have only come to realize that I'm addicted to infidelity. And like any addict, I should try to stay the course, but there is never any guarantee. If I continue my life exactly how it is now, I will continue to leave behind a burning trail of ruined relationships and broken hearts. It seems unstable and ultimately unsatisfying in the long run. Do I have any chance at semi-fulfilling relationship? Have any Redditors out there succeeded in broaching the topic of an open relationship with a potential mate? Female Redditors, what are your thoughts on being in a relationship with a charming, attractive man? This guy thinks a lot of himself. Somebody said counseling. My thoughts on this is like, you don't want to stop cheating, don't ever get into a serious relationship. And yes, you should definitely consider a vasectomy, or you are going to be paying some child support. Somebody said go see a therapist and stop dating if you know you're just going to screw around behind people's backs. The thing about cheaters, they don't like open relationships because they like the mystery of cheating. I mean, open relationship, that's not cheating because y'all know what y'all doing. The whole, there's an addiction to cheating and creeping and living a double life. That's why people have it. Somebody asked, have you ever experienced being cheated on by someone you deeply cared about? Yes, several times. In fact, my therapist suspects that's the genesis of this behavior. And he said it was devastating. Yeah. I think you just need to get old and then you'll just probably get tired, because for men, for y'all to cheat, unless y'all finding, especially if you got a little money, you're spending a lot of money on these little affairs. So eventually it'll get old to you, I would think, and you just get tired. But, the allure of cheating is always fun until you get bored. Yeah, interesting. Somebody said you're full of it. One day she'll find out and she cuts your cock off with a pair of rusty scissors and feeds it to the dog. Karma will come full circle, do the decent thing. Yeah. Polyamory, people are suggesting. Somebody said, get the F out of the relationship, you're being a dick. Guy said, he's also said, I've had zero success with honesty and tremendous repeated success with being an a-hole. Unfortunately, the wrong behaviors have reinforced so long, it's become difficult to force myself to try anything else. You got into a pattern of bad behavior, and you obviously got a really terrible therapist, dude. And you clearly haven't abstained from sex, and you clearly don't have any other hobbies, because if you had actual real hobbies, cheating would be so juvenile. My advice is just grow up, man. Grow up and spend your money on something else besides some strange. That's what we call it in the hood. So my vocal cords are exhausted. I tried to entertain you guys as much as I could today. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully with more energy and of course with more juicy stories, because people just can't stop putting their business on the internet, and I'm going to read the heck out of it. Soon I'll be able to play videos again, but for now you guys will have to settle for my list and my reading. Evans for Felly signing off. You guys have an amazing, amazing day. Toodles.